With NBCU addressing the possibility of buying WWE and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. When it comes to the AEW Dynamite tribute of the late Jay Briscoe, Sean Ross Sapp noted, the Jay Briscoe tribute went off well, and many things were changed to accommodate it on AEW Dynamite. Prior to Tuesday, it didn't look like the tribute or Mark Briscoe's match was happening, but AEW moved many things around to make it a reality. Ian Riccaboni was booked for the show Tuesday and flew in just hours before the show. Darby Allin versus Buddy Matthews was originally scheduled to main event, and had some time trimmed in order to help make room for the Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal match. We're told the Guns and Acclaimed video was also longer and was trimmed to make some time. One source told us that it was impressive how they were able to provide Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal as much time as they needed without compromising anything else that was advertised. Those we spoke to were very happy with the show. We're told Kenny Omega wanted to be there, but has been battling visa issues. FTR had already been scheduled to be backstage at the show. Dalton Castle was at the show and came to sit front row to cheer on Mark Briscoe. Touching on the reason for the Briscoes being banned from AEW programming by Warner Bros. Discovery, the Wrestling Observer newsletter wrote that the main issue was Jay's tweets from nearly a decade ago. However, there was a second issue regarding the Briscoes wearing Confederate flag ring jackets and on gear in the past. Because of that, the original decision, even after Jay's death, was to still not allow Mark to appear on TBS or TNT, as well as to not allow a significant tribute show for Jay. Mentioning what he would do if he was in charge of WWE Creative, Chris Jericho told the Daily Star that, "I don't watch WWE just from a time standpoint, but I follow. And I think that story is awesome because it's organic. They didn't plan it to be that big. Sami is the perfect example of an organic character that the fans made into a star. And I think it all started last year at WrestleMania with the Johnny Knoxville match at WrestleMania, which was brilliant. That's when he finally became Sami Zayn. And if I was booking WWE, the main event of WrestleMania would be Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn, and Sami goes over. You can bring in Rock, you can put Cody in the position, and bring in Austin. But much like Jericho and Owens, Sami and Roman is the story that's been grown and built. The payoff needs to be Sami winning. That's what I would do." With her last seen on WWE TV in September, Doudrop addressed her absence when speaking to Instinct Culture. "I've had some time off to deal with a health scare that I had. Luckily, that's all it was. It was just a scare. Everything was always great. Sadly, I got COVID real bad. The symptoms that I was having, they were concerned about my heart. God bless them, they took the best care of me. They got every test for my heart that they could muster, and every single one of them came back clean as a whistle. Much to some people's annoyance, my heart is in excellent condition." Talking to Ryan Satin, Bray Wyatt spoke about a comeback for The Fiend, where he noted, "The Fiend died that day in Tampa, Florida at WrestleMania. To me, The Fiend is not just a goof in a mask like people think. That's just ridiculous. To me, it's so much more where all these things come from, how they molded me as a human being. But he died that day to me, and it can't never be again." For that same interview, Wyatt would also say this about Uncle Howdy: "There's so much more to it than you think. It's not just so cut and dry. The spooky man in the background, there's more to it. There's complexities that you haven't got to see yet. There's things I don't understand about it, and that's the beauty of it, is it's going to grow organically, but the story of it, I don't think, has been told yet. And once you understand what it really is and where it came from, in my childhood and who Howdy really is, it's much deeper than you think it is, than you would perceive it to be." Wyatt even touched on his release from WWE, saying, "There was so much going on, and it was out of nowhere. I wasn't prepared for any of that. I lost my childhood best friend. I lost Brody Lee. I lost my best friend from college, Mark Olive. It was something that I think I didn't deal with very well. Brody's wife Amanda and his kids dealt with it better than me and Eric Rowan did. There is something there that reminds me of him every single day. That time period was such a conundrum for me, and I wasn't myself. It took me a while to remember what makes me, me. It was a long journey, but it's led me here to this moment. This is the best I've ever felt. Giving details on the training for Cody Rhodes, Dave Meltzer said in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Rhodes went through what was described as a boxing training camp to get in shape for the show, and he dropped from 17.7% body fat under 9%. The idea of training like a boxer would indicate he's looking to go hard for a long period of time, which doesn't necessarily mean he'll be in the ring for a long time in this match, but would indicate he's very seriously looking to get into condition to go hard for a long period of time. Following his absence from Raw's 30th anniversary show, Mick Foley is taken to his podcast to dispel rumors of him having heat with the company. Absolutely not. I will say, I've had some heat over the years. Maybe if you polled everyone in WWE, maybe I have heat with someone that I'm not aware of. But to the best of my knowledge, everything is going really well. I'm involved to some extent with this show on WWE. I've spent more time in Connecticut, not necessarily WWE headquarters, but right up the road working with WWE personnel on a show I'm really proud of. Really proud of this. But there's an extravagant amount of traveling because I have to travel to where the talent is available when they are available. So it's not like logistically a loop is being set up. Basically, if I can visit the milk truck in Modesto, California, I got to go out and see that milk truck when Kurt Angle is available. Bill Goldberg got a lot of things on the plate, so I've got to go up to Kansas when Bill is available. Not because he lives there, but because that's where the collector is. So just for example, there was one 3-day stretch where I went from Florida to Modesto, California to Boston, Boston to Hutchinson, Kansas, which is not a direct flight, and then back to Florida. So you're literally putting like 30 flying hours together by the time you're done, especially if something's not non-stop, so it can be very time consuming. So for the 30th anniversary of Raw, like every anniversary, falls in that third week of January, where they have, to me, their second biggest show of the year to promote. So going in that there's only room for like 3 speaking roles and that everyone else is in the poker game. So that's a long way to go when you've been on the road for 25 days or whatever the case is, and you just want to see your family. So in the interest of full disclosure, like I visited my mom. That's a 4-day block, but I'm a son. I'm trying to be there for her. So I include that. Even now, right before we took the air, I was trying to change my rental car schedule because I realized that if I change my schedule and instead of flying out of Huntsville to Chicago for the next episode that I may or may not be hosting, that if I chose instead to drive 8.5 hours, I could see my family and still kind of be there by the time. And so that's the decision I made, is you put a lot of value on that time at home, especially when you're in like a 4 or 5 month block where you haven't been home very much. I just felt like I needed those 2 days with my family more than the show needed me. Talking about Austin Theory, Chief Content Officer for WWE, Triple H, told ESPN this about the current United States champion. It's a nuanced feeling. Once you see this guy's a great athlete, I'm looking for their personality, their charisma. Austin Theory has it, and then some. Do I think he has all the potential to be one of the biggest stars in the business? Absolutely. What determines that? A lot of that is up to him now. You give him little bits of things here and there, and he's improving his game, and he's smart. He listens to the crowd, he listens to the people. He sees all the stuff that's going on, and he adapts his game on a regular basis. Speaking of Austin Theory, for an interview with Busted Open Radio, he noted when he found out about Vince McMahon wrestling at WrestleMania 38. The egg started everything. I just heard Mr. McMahon wants to film this segment with an egg. I heard about it. It was him arriving with the egg, and the story was somebody stole the egg. Literally, that day they were like, you stole the egg. I stole the egg. All right. We filmed the segment with Vince, and I was super nervous for that. I stole the egg? $100 million egg? All right. I'm trying to figure all of this out, and it's my first thing with Vince. It It was almost like anytime we filmed anything, it felt so fast. We'd do it, and that would be it. On to the next one. Especially, WrestleMania was interesting because we had no idea if we were going to have Vince in the match until like the night before. I remember that day showing up. I met Stone Cold for the first time. Hey, how's it going, Austin? Nice to meet you. Hey, nice to meet you. I'll be seeing you later tonight. He got on the golf cart and kept driving. What is going on? I got to Gorilla. He told me the business. That's it. Went out there and he gave me that look. While many are concerned over Vince McMahon potentially returning to creative in WWE, the Wrestling Observer newsletter said, it was noted to us that the Vince who was at the office all night and sometimes into the early morning is not the case at this point, as he leaves work now at a normal time since his duties are lessened, most notably the long creative meetings. During an earnings call for Comcast, CEO of NBC Universal Jeff Shell said this about being the front runner to buying WWE. We are always looking for bolt-on acquisitions that bolster our business. 2 examples, we bought DreamWorks Animation, and it has been paying off steadily since our acquisition. Just now, with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which is a big hit at the box office, and really our entrance back into the Shrek universe continues to make that acquisition look really favorable. And our Blumhouse investment over time, where we're partners with Jason Blum, and we have a big hit, Megan, this month, which is coming out of that investment. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.